Depending on how notes are implemented throughout your organization, you may have the need to control how notes are made visible to your user base. To review these options, let's go to the Security menu under Configure. You can control the access to notes per roles. You can always understand what users will be impacted by your settings by selecting a role and reviewing the user assignments. To determine the access, go to Desktop Security. When expanding notes, you will see two options. First, it is important to understand that there is an inherent rule in the system that dictates the note writer as the only person ever allowed to edit a note. That rule is not configurable nor flexible, as it follows the guidelines for electronic documentation. Therefore, what you are controlling here is strictly visibility to notes. You can be assured that even though you may permit users to review others' notes, there will never be the opportunity for anyone other than the note writer themselves to edit a note. That said, you will need to select from one of the two options. The first option is to show only users' notes. This option is more restrictive in that it permits the user to only see their notes. When in the Notes desktop and in the Search Notes grid, they will only ever have access to view notes that they have written, limiting themselves from seeing anyone else's documentation. Also in this option, the supervisors of the notes will only see all notes in which they are listed as the supervisor. The other option provides more accessibility to notes, which is often most helpful in team-delivered service environments. This option opens up visibility to all notes, but taking into account the cost center assignment and the assigned clients rules. This means that there is still some control over what notes are visible, since cost centers and/or assigned clients are being respected. For example, if the only show assigned clients rule is checked, then even in the Show All Notes mode, the user will only see the notes that are associated with their assigned clients. That is also true for the Cost Center rules. In this mode, you will see when going to the Notes desktop that you will be presented with all notes for the clients and staff in the cost centers in which you work. Again, editing is still not permitted. You are strictly able to review the notes. Next, the Allow Superuser mode is powerful functionality in that it provides visibility to all notes in the system. Not only does it provide full visibility, but it also allows the user to approve notes. For this reason, it is recommended that this functionality is limited to management-type positions that have authority to sign off on notes and approve for billing status. In the event the assigned supervisor of a note is not able to approve the note, then someone with super user status may act as the stand-in supervisor. When this power is enabled, the super user's signature is applied to the note, and the note then travels on to the billing cycle. This is a very privileged function and should be opened up cautiously since it affects the signing off of notes. Remember that this is role specific, so be sure that each user in this role is capable of using this function. There is one other component of note securities to review. For each of your roles, you have the ability to determine how the corresponding users will be able to handle warning messages when notes are being entered. This is managed under the Validations tab. Each point of validation is listed, and there is a tooltip that describes the purpose of each one. Hovering your mouse over each item provides the tooltip. If you choose to enforce the validation, you are turning on the rules so that when notes are signed or approved, the system looks to ensure it is in compliance. If it is not enforced, the system will not check for compliance in that particular area for that validation. If you do enforce a validation, then you will want to determine if it is overridable. If it is, then you are allowing the users to continue with signing or approving the notes at their discretion, but empowering them with the knowledge that the note will be out of compliance. If you do not allow the override, then the system will prevent the note from being signed or approved altogether until the event is no longer out of compliance with the validation. Remember that these validations can be configured per role. In that case, you may want your caregivers, the actual note writers, to always be able to override a validation so that their notes can get signed, but then it may be up to your supervisors, which could be in a different role, and you would take away their ability to override, which means the note is in the system and signed per documentation guidelines, but it may not make it to the billing cycle until the particular validation has met compliance. Should you have any questions, please submit your inquiry by going to Support, Contact Support, and submitting your inquiries.